everybody, welcome to another video in my Grown Ass Women how-to series. This is really not so much a how-to, more like a how I do something, and this one, obviously, evidenced by the title above my head, is how I contour my face. Now, I don't contour every single day, but maybe 3 days out of 7, especially if I have somewhere to go or I'm dressing up a little bit. I like to just add that little oomph. I really only contour my cheekbones and my jawline. That's all I really have the time, patience, and knowledge for. A little bit on the top temples as well. And I guess that's why I call it a GAW kind of tutorial. Other people do like their nose, under their lip, and other areas. I think it looks amazing, but it's just more than I can handle in real life. So I'm just gonna show you how I do it. And I really quickly want to explain again the difference between contouring and bronzing, because they're two different products and two different processes. With contouring, it's really kind of like art class on your face. So contouring, you are making parts of your face recede or look like they are in shadow to make other parts of your face move forward or look like they are more prominent. So what I'm trying to do is make it look like my cheekbones are more defined and sharper than they actually are. And if you look at a shadow somewhere around your house, they're gray toned, they're ashy, they aren't brown, they're gray. They're not tan. That's for contour. If you look at someone who has a suntan, who has that golden glow, it's tan, it's warm, it's caramel colored, it's a totally different shade on a color wheel. I have done a whole video on how I bronze and the two different techniques I use, one to just warm up my face and the other to simulate a suntan. I will refer you to the eye dot that's floating around somewhere around here if you want to see that, and I'll also put that direct link in the description box. But today we're contouring. So I have done all of my makeup as far as eyes go, and I will list all those products. There's not a lot, but I will list that in the description box. I've done foundation, concealer on my blemishes, concealer and corrector under my eyes. That's a whole other video. It's a lot of videos. And I've powdered, and now we are ready to contour. So in the order of how I do my face products, because normally I wouldn't do my eyes, that comes last. I like to do my whole face first, and then I move on to my eyes. But just for appearance's sake, I put on some eye makeup. But in the process of doing my makeup, I start with my face, and I do foundation, and then I do concealer, and that includes blemishes, under eye corrector, under eye concealer, and then the next stage is powder. And I powder not so much to set my makeup, because I have dry skin and my makeup is not going anywhere. It sucks it in my skin, just but I do it because my foundation and concealers are liquid or creams, and when you put a powder product that has color to it on top of liquid, it can get patchy. So powdering my face with the translucent powder makes it an even canvas so that the next powder product doesn't cling to anything and make it look uneven. Okay, so now we are on to contour, and there are really only two products that I use. One is a high-end product, and one is very much a budget-friendly option. So we'll start with the high-end, and the one I've had the longest. This is from Kevyn Aucoin. And this is the sculpting powder. And it is in the shade medium. There is a lighter shade. I'm fine with the medium. So if you are fair toned, you could get the light shade, but I promise you the medium is just fine. You just need to blend maybe a little bit. So here it is, and you can see it's well loved. And then on the opposite end of the budget spectrum is this lovely palette from e.l.f. called, of all things, the Contour Palette. And this is a really helpful, I think, way to look at the difference. So these are setting powders or under eye powders. We're not going to talk about these right now, but this is what I use for contour. And this would be a nice bronzer. Do you see the difference in colors other than one's darker and one's lighter? The contour shade here is much cooler, and this has like an orange, almost an orange undertone. So I'm going to go for the Kevyn Aucoin one. There are two brushes that I use to contour. I personally like something that's very narrow because I don't have a lot of surface area on my face, and it's really easy to mess this up and make it look very muddy and get all over the place. So you want something where you can very precisely put the contour line, and then you can blend it and diffuse it as much as you want. But it's better to have a very sharp defined line and blend it out than to have a big line that's all over your face and you've gone too far. So the brush I usually use the most is by Sephora, and it's flat on this end. But if you turn it sideways, it's very narrow. And it just fits right underneath your cheekbones. And what's cool about it is because it's flat and wide, you can then turn it and use it to help you blend out that line. The other one I use a lot, and I use this interchangeably, excuse me, also as a highlighting brush, is a fan brush. And there are two, and one I do prefer more for contouring. Again, a little more budget friendly is the Real Techniques fan brush. And then I also have one from Sigma. And I prefer the one from Sigma for contour over the Real Techniques one, and I will explain why. The Real Techniques brush is almost like a duo fiber brush. So it has at the very tip a little bit of a less dense brush at the very end, and the problem with that is it can diffuse the line maybe a little too much, which would be great for highlighter if you're blending down like this, but I feel like it's a little too floppy. I mean, it'll work, but because I have both of these, I like the Sigma one a little better because it's a very crisp, sharp line here, and I can really get that nice, neat line, and then again, turn it sideways and blend. So that's a lot of talking. Let me just jump in. I'm gonna use one brush on one side and one brush on the other. So let's just start with the Sephora brush, and I just dip it in. The best way to do this is let your face do the work for you. So you tilt your head down, and as you tilt your head down and suck in your cheeks, you see the line? Your face actually makes the line. You just literally paint by numbers. Just use the brush to follow the line. Start at the top of your, like right at your hairline, and follow that line. And ideally you want to stop that line once you get to the edge of your eyeball. Here we go. Sucking it in, tilting your head down, follow the line. It's better to not add, see, I mean, that's it. You can see it. That's it. If you feel like it's always better to not have too much, and then you can add. But it's hard to take it away. Now I'm gonna just do the same thing on the other side with the smaller brush, tilting down, sucking in, making the deep voice. That's the key in this. Good morning to you doves. So that line is a lot sharper than this line. Now, I'm gonna leave it alone for right now. I'm gonna talk about the other places that I like to contour, which is really the jawline and just for kicks, the temples. I really don't have a wide forehead, but it just kind of makes a little bit of a continuity thing. I take it so that it's a little bit on the, it overlaps. It's on the jawline, and it's a little down onto the neck, and I start right under the ear. Probably shouldn't have worn earrings. And I just kind of go back and forth very lightly. And what I'm trying to make it do is look like my jaw's a little sharper and that there's no hint of a double chin. And then a little bit directly actually under my chin itself. Hello, chin. And then we'll do the same on the other side. I also like to do a little bit on the very tops of my temples, almost like on a diagonal, and a little bit across the hairline. Again, it's more just to tie it all in, but very lightly. Of course, if you have a very narrow forehead, this would not be good because it's going to make your forehead look more narrow. You kind of have to look at the angles of your face and learn what looks best. There are charts on Pinterest and things like that. If I can find one that kind of shows you different face shapes and the best place to put contour, I will put that below. And then there are whole ways you can do your nose and stuff. I cannot even attempt that one. Now let's start with the blending. And then just make the brush do the work. So remember when we put it on, we did it this way. I'm gonna turn the brush sideways. And I'm really just up and down, and I'm going to pull it up, not down, because if you pull it down, it just gets muddy on your face. It just looks like your face is dirty. My face. Who am I kidding? It's not your face, it's my face. This side, remember, was the side with the fan brush. It's a lot more precise. So that needs a little work. And there's one more step, and pull it down your neck. And then there's one more step to make this work a little bit more with the blending, and that is your bronzer. So I've blended it fairly well, but one more step to make it all blend a little bit better is bronzer. So that's what I do next. This is my pretty much go-to lately. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. You take your bronzer brush, which of course is a big fluffy brush. We've talked about this in another video. Oh, I love this smell. And you just literally go over and overlap where your contour was. And that blends out your bronzer even more, because remember, you're using a big fluffy brush, and ties it all together and kind of makes it look like you actually, this is part, I hope we're like fooling somebody here that this is normal looking. Over your chin, down, bronze the neck. So there I am, contoured and bronzed, and we'll just finish this look up real quickly. I'm going to add some highlighter. Today it's the Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt and Glow, Bronze and Glow. The glow side, obviously, right on the cheekbones. I've been obsessed lately. It's not even, I don't think, a blush. It's from NYX. It's their Duo Chromatic Illuminating Powder in Crushed Bloom. It's very glowy and pretty, and it's very subtle, but I love it. I cannot stop wearing it. I just picked this up recently at Ulta, and I cannot stop wearing it. It's very, you know, if you like a strong blush, this will not be for you. And if you like a matte blush, this will not be for you. But if you like subtle and you like glowy cheeks, this will be right up your alley. So there's the finished look. That's how I contour and finish out the whole face on a regular basis when I actually do contour, which is semi-frequently. I'm not gonna finish with lipstick today because my next video that I'm gonna film actually right after that is a trial of lip scents. So if you're interested in that, once it's up, I will link that in the description box. So stay tuned, be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. If you have any questions about any of this or really anything at all, I'm always happy to answer any questions you have. So I am just internally grateful that you take any time out of your day to watch anything that I do. So if you have a question, do not hesitate to contact me. Of course, comment below. YouTube has a funky way of notifying me about comments, and so I do miss some. So if you really need me to answer your question, Instagram lately is the best way to find me. You can direct message me on Instagram or comment on any of my pictures, and I tend to see those before any other comments anywhere else. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is pretty good, and email's maybe the worst way to find me. Those get buried sometimes. So anyway, of course, you can also comment below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please share your favorite tips, tricks, tools, products. Let's keep this conversation going. Let me know what you'd like to see next in this series, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.